Breaking news, guys. Dwyane Wade signs a 1 year, $2.3 million deal to go to the Cleveland Cavaliers and play along one of his best friends in the NBA, LeBron James, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is a big deal because Dwyane Wade still has a lot left in the tank. And not only do he have a lot left in the tank, he doesn't really even have to do much because he's playing with so much talent. He haven't played with this much talent since he played with LeBron James in against the Spurs. So that's a long time ago. That's 3-4 years ago. And on top of that, Dwyane Wade started last year and they was able to still make the playoffs on a mediocre Bulls team with Rondo and with Jimmy Butler and Robin Lopez and stuff, and they still was able to make it to the playoffs. But this really helps the Cavaliers because Isaiah Thomas is out. I know you have a player like Derrick Rose. You still have other solid players on this roster that can fill in for Isaiah Thomas until he comes back healthy. But now they're saying that Isaiah Thomas won't come back until December. So you really need the extra ball handler. You really need the extra scoring and players you can count on in the fourth quarter because Dwyane Wade still can take and make big shots. Remember, Cleveland lost all the games to Chicago last year because Dwyane Wade and Jimmy Butler stepped up when they needed to. And Dwyane Wade always been a big shot maker and a big shot taker. And he always been a solid ball handler. He knows when to kick out. He knows when to score. He picks his spots when to score. And it relieves a lot of pressure because he's not one of the people that they're preparing for. They trying to stop Isaiah. They trying to stop LeBron. They trying to figure out where's Kevin Love at in these corners and if he's posting up and trying to box him out the rebound, which means all the eyes on everybody else. Dwyane Wade ain't the superstar that he used to be, but that's because he got older. But playing with all these other great players like Kevin Love, LeBron, and Isaiah, it takes the eyesight off Dwyane Wade so he can get those backdoor cuts that he usually do. He can get those fast break transition buckets. He can knock down some mid-range. He can carry the load offensively for the bench or for the star lineup because he can still play with the bench when the bench is on the court, or he can start. But I will still start J.R. Smith because you need that floor spacing for Isaiah, for LeBron. Even though LeBron is an improved shooter, you still need Kevin Love to start. You still need J.R. Smith to start because they space out the floor. Isaiah Thomas is a streaky three-point shooter. LeBron is an improved, but you still need the space for Isaiah and LeBron so they can still get to the paint and knock down those mid-range shots, get in the middle of the paint, and get easy floaters and easy baskets and easy dunks and layups and even lobs and dump offs to Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson. You need those players to give you that access. Dwyane Wade, even though he played a good season last year, he still shot 31% from three. And even though he's still a good, he's still a good defender at this age now. I'm not gonna say he's terrible, but he plays with a lot of effort. He plays with a lot of energy. He's a better defender than J.R. Smith, but J.R. Smith is 6'6" and he can shoot the three ball. You might want to keep him on the court. And Dwyane Wade getting to a point in his career where he's only getting older. Even though he's still a starting quality player, you still need something coming off the bench to add you that punch. And they still have players like Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson, Kyle Korver too, that can play the 2 or the 3 and throw out multiple lineups with Dwyane Wade on the court. Like you can run with Derrick Rose at the point. You can let LeBron play the point. Just put Dwyane Wade as another guard on the floor with Kyle Korver and J.R. Smith. You can run lineups with Iman Shumpert if you really want to get deep and down. You can run him at the point with LeBron James, J.R. Smith, or Kyle Korver, or even Channing Frye or Richard Jefferson. Tristan Thompson going to have to be a starter because he crashed the boards. Rebounding is an important way to win games and win championships. And they're using their money on a player that still has a lot left. The only problem I have with Dwyane Wade is he still just can't shoot. But he does something that J.R. Smith can't do, which is actually make plays outside of scoring and knowing where to be at on the court. Because J.R. Smith has really just been a spot-up hot shooter. And Dwyane Wade can still score. He can still handle the ball. He can still put the ball in the basket, whether it's in isolation or it's just creating a shot for somebody else, a kick out, a dump off. He can still do that. And that's something that J.R. Smith can't do. He can get his own shot, but he's going to resort to a jump shot. Dwyane Wade can get to the basket. Dwyane Wade can knock down the mid-range. He can get to the free throw line. He can add more versatility and more ball handlers to a lineup that they didn't have access until now. Because remember, Derrick Rose really can't shoot. Kay Felder really can't shoot. So that's not what you want to have on the court. You still want to have the handlers and the scorers with spacing around them. And that's why I think J.R. Smith probably might still start, because he will add that spacing. Who's better, Dwyane Wade or J.R. Smith? I'd probably go with Dwyane Wade, but you still have to have that firepower off the bench. And if J.R. Smith can do that, because he is a Sixth Man of the Year winner, then maybe they might start Dwyane Wade, but he's not going to add the shooting. But you can always say, well, Jimmy Butler and Rondo and Dwyane, none of them could really shoot, and they still made it to the playoffs. You're right, but you're playing with LeBron James. LeBron James is going to be the primary ball handler and decision maker, not Jimmy, not Dwyane Wade. And Dwyane Wade will have to sit in corners and knock down threes. In Chicago, they let him handle the ball and be himself. He's going to have to improvise a little bit, just like he did in Miami. He's going to have to change his game to fit in with LeBron. It's easier to do it now because he already played with LeBron, and LeBron is an improved three-point shooter. But this team kind of do remind me of that Miami team when they had loaded up on the pace and space, and they had Dwyane Wade and them having shooters all over the place. Chris Bosh, Shane Battier, Rashard Lewis, Ray Allen. They can still do that because they do have Kyle Korver. They do have Richard Jefferson. And they do have Channing Frye. And J.R. Smith, Jose Calderon, and Jay Crowder is a guy that can play the 2 or the 3 and add that space into the floor with the three-point shooting, but also add defense. Same with Jeff Green. He can add defense too. He's not the best three-point shooter. He's not the best scorer, but he can give you those lineups that can match up with the Warriors. Same with Jay Crowder. They have the length, they have the athleticism, they have the defensive mind to match up with a guy like Klay Thompson, to match up with a guy like Kevin Durant, and that's what you need to win a championship. This team, to me, is the best team in the East. I have them as the Eastern Conference champions this year, and even that's with or without Isaiah Thomas, because they do match up with a lot of teams. They can throw out a lot of different lineups, and not only can they do that, they have the playmakers. And not only do they have that, they have the experience, and they have players like LeBron that no team in the East can match up with. And that's going to be a problem because he's been destroying and ruling and is the king of the East. And I feel like they're going to get back there, and this just adds another recipe to disaster for the East, is getting Dwyane Wade for 1 year, $2.3 million when he came off an 18-point game season. And he's just going to have to play like he did before, know his role, pick his spots when to score, get some backdoor cuts, get some fast break points, get some free throws in, and get a couple elbow mid-range jumper, knock down a 3 every once in a while, put up 8 to 10 points a game, and that's all they really need you to do in Cleveland. So I like to pick up. I have no win in the East anyway. This was supposed to happen 2 years ago, but he decided to go to Chicago instead of going to Cleveland, and now he ended up being in Cleveland anyway, and this will help them with the Warriors because they already match up good with the Warriors. A lot of the games that they played last year was really close, especially the last 3 when they won one, and Kevin Durant hit the 3, then they beat Golden State, then Kevin Durant hit clutch buckets to beat them in Game 5. They was already close to beating the Warriors. They just couldn't close out the games like they wanted to, and they end up losing the series instead of extending the series, and they end up losing in 5 because they couldn't close out games, and the Warriors was able to do that. Now you add another closer with LeBron James, and one of the best closers is Isaiah Thomas. Now you have a lineup where you're like, wow, how can we stop all these guys from getting to the paint? How can we stop all these guys from getting the shots that they want when they are fourth quarter players and they can make big shots? And now they all on the same team playing together. That's crazy. But like I said, Dwyane Wade should have been there last year, but he went to Chicago. So let me know what you guys think. Is this a good pickup? Is this a good trade? Do you think Cleveland going to the finals? Do you think Cleveland can win the East? Do you think they can be the #1 team in the East without Isaiah until December? Let me know what you guys think. Do they have enough shooting? They do. They have over 5 shooters. They still have the shooting. So that's not going to be the problem, is the 3-point shooting, because they have a lot of 3-point shooters. The problem is only one basketball. But like I said, he played with LeBron already. He played with Gordon Dragic, and who can play a little bit like Isaiah Thomas. This should work, and this should be fine, whether he starts or not. I gave you those points. That's up to them to decide, and they can switch that lineup anytime they want to if it's not working, if it does work, and they can try out anything with the different lineups and matchups. Quinn Basketball Analysis signing out. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. The link will be in the description in the comment section below. Also, check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. The link will be in the description in the comment section below. All you gotta do is click the link to show support. Click the link and send you to my Facebook page. Like the Facebook page to show support. And that's all I'm asking you guys to do. Quinn Basketball Analysis signing out. Peace.